Well, welcome everybody this morning, and congratulations to all of you for taking the opportunity this morning, taking time out of your busy day to explore some natural solutions to combat some conditions related to age and lifestyle and environment. Um, I like to introduce myself. I'm Richard Maffei. I'm from sunny Central Florida. I am a natural health advisor, and I'm joined by my co-host, Dr. Tim Reichman, who is a retired chiropractor from North Carolina. So welcome, everybody. We're excited to share some information with you. First of all, I'd like to go through a brief disclaimer. The information we're going to provide for you is not intended to either treat or diagnose or prevent any disease or health conditions. If you have any concerns health-wise, we ask you to, uh, visit with your trusted health advisor, your trusted medical practitioner, and they will provide the information specific to your condition. Um, so before we get started, this is information on a technology which has been in the works for over 20 years, 10 years of clinical studies for this particular technology that we wanted to discuss. But before we get into that specific information, I'd like to introduce and turn this over to my good friend, Dr. Tim Reichman, who'll share with you some of his experiences with this technology and how it has helped his health issues. Dr. Tim, take it away.
Thank you very much, Richard. Thank you for having me today and letting me share my testimonial. I'm Dr. Tim, like Richard said, and my wife, Dr. Grace, and I are retired chiropractors. We've been in the health and wellness industry for over 40 years, and we still love it. We're always trying to remain healthier and stronger. And these little patches that we have been using, and here's a close-up of one of them, for just about a year and a half, have had some amazing results. I've had some amazing results. Dr. Grace has. I've actually used them on 3 dogs now and even 4 horses. So they're both for patients that are humans and for patients that are quadrupeds like dogs and horses. So first of all, I'd like to tell you a little bit about COVID. I had COVID about maybe almost 3 weeks ago. And before that, I had COVID 2 years ago. So 2 years ago, when I didn't know anything about these patches, I had COVID, and it was, a pretty strong case of COVID virus. And I was coughing day and night for over 3 months. Now, I just had COVID I got it really January 13th, and I am virtually cough free, which is amazing because I'm on these patches. I I give all the glory to God, first of all, for giving a download invention to a man named David Schmidt in California. And these patches have just really helped and accelerated my healing like I can't even imagine. And when I was an active chiropractor practicing, I sure wish I would have had these patches because my patients would have just loved them. But anyway, that was a big deal for me that I got over COVID quickly, and I cough just a couple times at night now, and they have really sped up my healing process. So Richard and I are going to be talking about a little bit more about how these patches actually work, and Richard will talk about David Schmidt too, and how he got started 20 years ago and who he made these patches for. But let me tell you some more issues that I had with my health. Um, I was always working hard all my life, and I had right hip pain for over 10 years. And I went to different chiropractors and medical doctors. And at first they thought it was arthritis, but then they really were thinking it was a labral tear. And a labrum is a piece of cartilage in one of your joints that can actually wear out, and your bone can get close to bone. And so it acts like a cushion. So one of my friends, Gloria Coppola, shared these patches with me and said, "Hey, Dr. T, do you know anything about phototherapy or light therapy?" I said, "Well, I know that when the sun shines and we go out in the sun and get that ultraviolet ray, that it mixes with the good cholesterol of our skin cells, and it helps me make my body make vitamin D." She said, "Yeah, that's it exactly." Well, these patches, they can work the same way. And Richard is going to go over these patches and how they actually work in just a little bit. So she gave me some patches, and I put one on my right hip. And 3 days later, my right hip pain of 10 years was gone. Now, it was a low grade chronic pain, so it was amazing. And I know that was super fast. It's almost unbelievably fast, but that's exactly what happened. So after that was gone, she said, "What else do you have going on?" I said, "Well, my shoulders are both sore." And so I went through the traditional chiropractic and medical route. And they said, "Dr. Tim, you have the makings of a labral tear, and your surgery is going to be in your future." I said, "Well, okay, let me work with some natural things first." And they agreed. And so I wore one patch on the right shoulder for about a little over 3 months, my left shoulder a little over 4 months, and my labrum have absolutely rejuvenated and restored and are completely healed. I didn't used to be able to lift my arm any higher than this, both arms. Now I can lift both of them, and they are working absolutely perfectly well. So these little tiny patches that cost about the same price as a cup of coffee at Starbucks, they have helped me avoid 3 surgeries. Now I know that I'm hypersensitive and things act and react very, very quickly with me, whether they're natural, homeopathic, or traditional allopathic. So I can't tell you and I can't promise you that you're going to react that quickly because everyone's physiology is a little bit different. We all have a heart, we all have a liver, but my heart and your heart might work a little differently. My liver and your liver might work a little differently. So we're all made differently. We all heal and process things a little differently. But the key to these patches, and by wearing them a year and a half now, I can tell you this. The key to these patches is to be patient and be consistent. David Schmidt, who is the inventor and founder of these patches called LifeWave patches, he says that for every 10 years you are old, you should wear these patches a month. So I should have worn my patch on my right hip and both shoulders almost 7 months because I'm 67 years old. I didn't have to wear them that long. I still wear them, but I wear very few patches now because they have this beautiful cumulative effect. And now I wear them because I want to keep my stem cells activated. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. But I am a firm proponent of alternative and natural healing. And these patches have had miraculous effects on my body. So I can't afford not to wear them. And they're super affordable. They're easy to wear. You wear them during the day for 12 hours. You take them off before you go to bed. It's just like brushing your teeth. So after I brush my teeth in the morning, I patch. Same thing in the evening. After I brush my teeth in the evening, I patch. If I'm wearing an evening patch, most of the patches are worn during the day. But Richard, I know I spoke a lot, and I want to get some more input from you. So I'll send it over to you now, and let's see what you have to offer.
Well, thank you, Dr. Tim. You had some amazing results, and kudos to you for taking this opportunity on a natural option versus just, and I say surrendering or succumbing to, the typical medical profession that says, okay, we're going to cut you up and we're going to, stitch you up and repair it that way. Because as we know, the body has the opportunity to heal itself naturally if given the right tools. If we take care of ourselves and so forth. And you mentioned that, you've been into natural health all your life, which is amazing. And, it's showing the results of that now. And I'd just like to mention if anybody has any questions, certainly, put them in the chat or make comments on the Facebook Live recording. Um, so one of the keys that you mentioned is being patient and consistent. Because as you alluded to, the body is everybody's body is different. We come to this point in our lives based on years and years and years of lifestyle changes, lifestyle choices, and our bodies, are in the condition that they are based on those choices and decisions that we've made. So years in the making, we can't expect, overwhelming results right away. But just to share, two little quick stories about me. Um, One of the things for me when I was introduced to the patch about a year and a half ago, close to a year and a half ago, is I had severe tendonitis in my right elbow, tennis elbow, as it's called. And I don't play tennis, I play a lot of golf, but nonetheless, 5 months, and I couldn't even stretch my arm out without excruciating pain and discomfort. And when we were introduced to the patches, I said, well, let me throw them on. And I took this little X39 patch, um, and it's, just to show you you peel it off, and this crystal lattice structure in the middle is a proprietary blend of amino acids and organic sugars and salts and water. Just put it on the back of my neck. And 11 hours later, I was sitting next to my wife watching TV, and I said, babe, um, I'm very hesitant to even say this, but I have no pain in my right elbow at all. My range of motion was completely restored. And I said, the only thing that I did differently today was wear this patch. And I was a firm believer and sold on this idea that this thing could help me. And so one of the things for me is I'm also, as you indicated, an advocate of natural health. We've transitioned to organic as much as possible. And, our lifestyle and nutritional choices are as much natural as possible. So we want to promote natural healing. But anyway, more specifically, how does this work? Uh, Dr. Tim, you mentioned phototherapy. Uh, when we put these patches on, our bodies emit heat and light. And the light that's emitted from our body reflects off of this patch, and it helps to elevate a copper peptide. Now, what's a peptide? Specifically, you will probably know more about a peptide than I will. But one of the things that is this particular peptide, GHKCU copper peptide, is associated with aging. As we age, it's the levels of this copper peptide are declining. And with the use of this X39 patch, it elevates GHKCU copper peptide, which stimulates and activates our stem cells, our own stem cells. The neat thing about stem cells is stem cells are what creates all of our entire body system, our organs, our liver, our skin, our heart. And as we age, our stem cells decline. By the time we're age 30, we maybe have 50% of our stem cells are active. The rest are dormant. By the time we're in our 60s and 70s, gosh, 90 to 100% of our stem cells are virtually asleep. And if you think about it, in our youth, we're very active. We are energetic. We've got all this energy to do different things. If we have a little bit of an injury or sprain, we recover quickly. As we age, gosh, it seems to take forever. Remember my tendonitis, and remember Dr. Tim's hip pain, chronic hip pain for what? You said 10 years, I believe?
Over 10 years.
Over 10 years. And after wearing it for 3 days,
3 days.
hip pain was gone. So our stem cells have the ability to go to where in our body is needed for repair and restoration. Neat thing about stem cells. So as we age, we want to be able to reactivate our stem cells so that they can be so our bodies can be restored to a more youthful, energetic, vital state. And excuse me. As Dr. Tim said, we wear them 12 hours on, 12 hours off. A little bit of history of how this was developed. Dr. Tim mentioned David Schmidt. He's our founder, CEO, inventor, scientist, and he was actually commissioned by the Navy SEALs to develop a technology to help these Navy SEALs who were on missions for 36, 48 hours at a time to have a natural boost of energy instead of the uppers and the methamphetamines that they were taking to keep them active. And he had developed this patch. It was the first patch. It was called Energy Enhancer. Okay. And Energy Enhancer is a two-patch system, and it helped to boost their longevity, their vitality, and they were able to get through their missions without any artificial stimulants. Fast forward another 10 years is when he started to do his research on the stem cell therapy, stem cell activation patches. And LifeWave is a 20-year-old company. In fact, they're celebrating their 20-year anniversary in 2024 with some exciting new products and therapies. So uh, those are some of the exciting things that are happening with LifeWave. One of the keys is when you're wearing the patches, you want to make sure that you hydrate, drink water constantly. Yeah, thank you, Dr. Tim. And it's recommended half of your body weight in water in ounces per day is as a bare minimum to keep yourself hydrated. Because as you hydrate, your body eliminates toxins. Um,
Mhm.
so these are some of the things that are very critical for your stem cell activation to again regenerate and reactivate to your body and reset your body to a more youthful state. So we have a question in the chat. Thank you, Elizabeth. Can I use these patches if I'm on medication? Absolutely. And here's the reason why. And one of the things we neglected to mention is, whoops, I dropped my patch. Oh, here it is. Sorry about that. Um, this is a non-transdermal patch. And what non-transdermal means is that there is nothing in this patch that goes into your body. There's no drugs, there's no medication, there's no artificial anything in here, and it has no contraindications with any medication that you are taking. So the good news is that um, whatever medications you're on, you can use these patches and you will not have any side effects because again, there's nothing in this patch that will harm you. Um, there's another question, where can I get more information? So in the chat, Dr. Tim and I both have put in our contact information as well as a website. There's a website called startx39now.com. And that will provide you with all the information on X39, the clinical studies behind it. David Schmidt has over 100 patents for his patch technology, as well as over 80 clinical studies that were peer reviewed, many of them peer reviewed, double blind placebos. And so you can get all that information from there. How long will I have to wear them? Dr. Tim, you want to answer that?
Sure, absolutely. Well, you can wear these patches for the rest of your life if you want to slow down the aging process. Like Richard alluded to, our stem cells are fantastic cells that are really made in virtually every tissue of the body. And a stem cell can morph or change into wherever it's needed. So stem cells start when the egg meets the sperm and conception begins. And that's really the first stem cell that we have in our body. And through our life, like Richard said, our stem cells tend to go to sleep and become dormant. And it doesn't mean that they're dead, but they're just dormant, they're asleep. So you can wear them for as if I'm almost 70 years old, so I should be wearing them consistently for about 7 months. So I really get that stem cell activation boosted up. And I'm going to mention a couple of patches that are just prime for stem cell activation. It's X39 and X49. These two patches will really activate and excite and rejuvenate your stem cells, like Richard talked about with the copper peptide. So, this phototherapy is something that's been around for ages. I mean, we just go out in the sun so we so our lungs feel better, so we don't cough as much. I mean, phototherapy, people have been doing that for thousands of years. That's nothing new, but this is a new proprietary technology. It's a smart way of rejuvenating your body's own stem cells. But to answer your question more succinctly, you should wear the patches for 1 month for every decade you are old, because it is a cumulative effect. So patience and consistency, that is the key. This is not a one-trick pony or a panacea. Even though Richard's recovery and my recovery were remarkable, we can't guarantee that you're going to have the same kind of results. But you should wear the patches, most of the patches during the day for 12 hours on and 12 hours off. There are a couple patches, like one called Silent Night, that's for sleep. And this is a nighttime patch. Now, if you're working the graveyard shift and you're working maybe 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. and you're up and working, you can certainly wear any of the daytime patches at night. But most of us don't work those hours. And Richard also mentioned that these are non-transdermal, and they are. Nothing goes into the body. It's not like an estrogen patch. It's not like a caffeine patch. It's nothing. Your light is coming off your body. It's hitting the proprietary center part of these patches. These patches act like little mirrors. So when our ultraviolet B light radiates from our body in our heat, it hits the patch. The patch again takes that phototherapy or light wave and directs it back into the body, and it excites these copper peptides, what Richard was explaining. Copper peptides love to join and help and heal stem cells. So, and we all have copper peptides in our body. That's something that we have, it's natural. So that's the way these patches really, really work. The only people that I haven't patched have been pregnant women, because I haven't seen the research and they haven't had clinical research posted just yet. And people that are on chemotherapy, chemotherapy can actually, destroy stem cells because it destroys cancer cells and can also destroy other cells that are good for us. So if someone's on chemotherapy, you wait about 3 days until after their chemotherapy is finished, and then you certainly would want to boost their stem cells with these patches. So it's an amazing technology. It's something that I would strongly recommend. We have just a few minutes left, so let me talk real quickly about animals. I've patched 4 horses so far. All 4 were elderly. One was lame, but the 3 elderly horses that I patched originally, they could lie down because they were older in the pasture, but they had trouble getting up. These patches helped them get up with a lot less pain. The dogs that I have patched, my own 2 dogs, one had a behavioral problem, and we just used X39 that I just spoke about and Richard just spoke about. And we put X39 on the inside of Opie Taylor's collar. And as long as it's close enough to your skin, to your body, these patches will work. They will send those phototherapy wavelengths back to stir up those copper peptides and excite and stimulate and rejuvenate the stem cells, and they will work. Our other dog had a little accident, a little mishap at the veterinary clinic, and he strained and sprained virtually every muscle of his body. We patched him with X39, and we patched him with one called Ice Wave. And this is the Ice Wave here for pain. It will absolutely curb pain in just seconds or minutes. So it's not made to rejuvenate your stem cells as much as it's made to break that pain cycle. So Richard, I know we have about 5 minutes left. Do you have any closing thoughts?
Well, let me answer. There's another question in the chat,
Sure.
and I do have a couple of closing thoughts as well. But can I reuse the patch? How many hours do I wear them? So, how many hours? As Dr. Tim had mentioned, we wear them 12 hours on, 12 hours off, and then we just take them off and we throw them away when we take them off. Can you reuse them? It's no, because this crystal lattice that's in the center of the patch, eventually it will, because it's working so well in the body, it does eventually break down. So if you try to reuse it, you're not going to have the same effect of when you first put it on when it's brand new. So it's recommended not to reuse them at all. Um, Another question that is generally asked is, well, how quickly can I see results? And, Dr. Tim, you had amazing results with your hip in 3 days. I had amazing results in 11 hours with my right elbow. But most people will see, and because everybody's body, again, as I said earlier, is different, uh, different timing, different results for different people. Most people will see, maybe 50% of the people will see some feelings differently within the first 3 weeks. Some people it might take 6 to 8 weeks, and some people, by the time 6 months of wearing, you'll notice some different changes in your body. And some of the things that you might experience with X39, especially, and X49 as well, pain relief, increased vitality, reduced inflammation, which is certainly my tennis elbow, uh, more rapid wound healing, uh, improved skin appearance, increased recovery from sporting activities, um, mental clarity, better sleep. So these are some of the things that eventually that you'll experience over time. And again, everybody's time frame is different, but different results for different people. But certainly, one of the things that I know I'm going to steal a comment that you generally like to make, Dr. Tim, but I'm giving you credit for it, is, whether you believe or not in the patches will work, but they will not work for you if you're not wearing them. So, with that, we're coming to a close on our 30 minutes, and we appreciate everybody stopping by and listening. And we wish you well in your health journey. Again, get back with the person who invited you here to this podcast to see if there's anything that can be done to help to improve your health and well-being and lifestyle. We wish you to live long, live well, and live healthy. Thank you all.
Thank you, Richard. God bless you and your family.
God bless you too. I'm going to stop the recording.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, good. And Richard, whenever you get the recording,
let me, where's my recording? Oh, here we go.